It's dizzy. It's that time of year when everything needs to be done yesterday. One of the things I really needed to get done was all the things that I had started, all the seeds that I had started. I really needed to move out of the containers they were in. Now, if you're planting in something that size, it's probably not a problem. However, the majority of my seeds were started in these little containers. I could fit 30 seeds in that, or thereabouts, as compared to 4 in something this size, which is a lot bigger. So I used a lot less soil, took up a lot less room. I had room for it on the little table that I had in my house under the grow light. Some of them were even planted in this. And they worked quite well for starting them. But of course, couldn't leave them in there because there's not enough room for them really to develop the root system that they need. And it was a matter of moving them into something bigger. Now, of course, if you plant it into something like that, you don't need to worry about it. But if you haven't, then yeah, they need to be moved. There's a few different containers that you can use. Of course, you can, if you have enough of these, you can use them. They fit nicely into these trays here. You do want to be able to put them in the tray so that you can move them around. Styrofoam cups hold more dirt. They're taller, a little bit bigger. It leaves more room for the plants to develop a good root system. And of course, since it's only the one in a pot, it makes it much easier to transplant. And I did that for the majority of my plants. Well, I also started asparagus from seed, and it's too early to put them into something bigger. For them, I used these plastic cups. They are bigger than the styrofoam cups. The styrofoam cups are 8.5 ounces. The plastic cups are 16 ounces. And since I have a few different varieties of most things, I took my marker and I wrote on the containers what they all were. Of course, the asparagus, that doesn't look like anything else. I know what that is. Only had one eggplant come up, so of course I had to write what that was. But other than that, everything is marked. Now, of course, I needed to make some drain holes. I just used this as one of those metal skewers that you use when you're stuffing a chicken or a turkey to help keep it stay together. And I used it to just poke holes at the bottom. I poke them along the side there. I'm not sure how easy they are to see. There's one right there. I found that works better than poking the holes in the bottom. Next thing you want to think about is your growth medium. Now, some people use potting soil, which yeah, you can, but it can get kind of expensive. Other people use the dirt out of their garden. What I used, this is all from where I've been doing firewood for the past several years. There is some stuff that's no good in there, like bits of wood, bark, a puppy dog nose, even some weeds. I've just been throwing all of that over to there. But this is fairly rich. It's light. It's a bit coarse. It's going to drain well. And I decided for this year at least I'm going to try it. Depending on the roots that your seedling has when you transplant it, it's going to depend on what you do. For those that had a really well-developed root system, I would just put some of the dirt in. I'd put the seedling in and then fill it the rest of the way with dirt. Of course, tamp it down a little bit to make sure that it was nice and firm in there. For those that didn't have as well-developed a root, especially these smaller tomatoes and some of the smaller peppers, basically just filled it up with dirt, used my finger to poke a hole in the dirt, put the seedling in, and tamp the dirt around it. Now, having it in these trays here means that I can move it. This table can get a lot of sun. If it's getting too much sun, I can move it to some place that is more shaded. If it's going to be very cold out at night, it was 30 degrees the other night, I can take them in the house. Now I've used two different trays. One allows drainage, the other holds water in. You want, if you're going to be taking these in the house, something that's going to be more solid. Reason being, you don't want dirt and water all over the house. We are still expecting some cold nights, so these are still going to have to go in the house sometimes at night. And I don't want to have to worry about getting the dirt and water all over my floor and all in the house. It's messy enough as it is. So it is not quite time for me to move these out. It's middle of April now. I'm planning to go on vacation in the not too distant future. When I get back from vacation, these will all be planted in the garden. While I'm away, I'm just going to take this all over to my daughter's house and let her keep an eye on it for me. The only thing that I haven't transplanted into bigger containers, I had some broccoli, cabbage, and cauliflower that should have really been planted out a while ago. Some of it has died, but it can be fairly cold tolerant. That will be getting planted in the garden directly. And the onions that I've started, they will also be getting planted in the garden directly. There you go. I will be planting the majority of this stuff. I do have a few extra of some of the tomatoes and peppers. I only had one eggplant come up right here. I'm not a big fan of eggplant. That's a white eggplant. There are places around here where I can buy a single. So I will be buying another variety like a Rosa Bianca or something like that. I'm not really fond of the plain purple ones. And that should give me enough of all of this sort of stuff. Well, I hope wherever you are that you're having good gardening. And I'll talk at you later.